What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Us vs. Them YouTube channel. I'm your host, Vince, and we're going to break down the feature fight for UFC 323. We got Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. Right now, Moreno is sitting at a plus 104, so just slight underdog. And then Taira on the other side is a minus 128, so he's a slight favorite. That line's been really consistent all week. I've seen it kind of shift up and shift down, but that's about where it started, and that's where it is right now. So pretty consistent. So before I get into this breakdown though, if I could just remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel, all that bullshit. If you guys look at some of our past videos, you'll see how consistent we have been in picking moneyline picks. And we've done a really good job of picking method of victory picks too. So if you like the sports bet, especially with UFC, this is a good channel to subscribe to. First thing worth noting in this fight is that this is the first fight for Moreno that's scheduled for 3 rounds. And I believe 5 years, it's been 5 years that he's had a 3-round bout scheduled. Just been consistently fighting for titles, and when he wasn't fighting for titles, he was main eventing, fight nights and shit like that. So 5-round fight after 5-round fight, and it makes you wonder, is he gonna come in and start a little bit slow? To be honest with you, I ask myself that with a lot of people that find themselves in that career path that Moreno is in, where they fought 5 rounds a lot, and now they're switching back to 3 rounds. And for Moreno, I don't think that that's going to be too much of an issue. I think fight IQ is something that Moreno really prides himself on, and something that I don't think he gets maybe enough credit for. So even though this is his first 3-round fight in a while, I don't think we're going to see a slow start. I think we're going to see him pace himself appropriately. We have seen really kind of the rise of Tatsuro Taira, and he's really used a lot of his grappling exchanges on his rise up. Looks really good so far in the UFC. Obviously has positioned himself too. If he wins this fight, he's probably fighting for the title next. And like I said, it's really his grappling that's got him here. Particularly his really smooth back takes. This guy could take the back from many positions, and it seems like he's really effective at getting the back because it's comes from really unorthodox angles and unorthodox scrambles. So, that's really good, something that's we're going to be able to look for in this fight. But to be honest with you, I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to utilize that against Moreno. I think Moreno is a really high-level grappler himself. He gets a lot of credit for his boxing and his stand-up skills, the things that was able to win him titles and defend belts and shit like that. But, the reality is he's a really good grappler, too. His grappling is high level, especially his anti-grappling skills. So I'm really interested to see how his anti-grappling stacks up against somebody as creative as Tatsuro Taira. I can easily see this fight going the distance. I think a lot of people, especially anybody watching my channel, if you're watching my channel, you can also probably easily predict that this fight's going the distance. So when you have a fight like that, it makes you wonder, okay, so who's going to win moments, who's going to win minutes, and that's going to stack up to who's going to win rounds. And, when I think about that and I think about Tatsuro Taira's path to victory, I think that the only real way that I see him doing that is if he's able to take the back and kind of sit there on the back for minutes on end. It'll be a really boring approach, but it could potentially be really effective if he does get that body lock and he's able to sit there. I don't think he's going to be able to finish the fight from there because I think Moreno is going to be able to defend himself and defend the choke. That obviously is the only thing that's going to he has to defend at that point. So that's the only real path to victory that I see for Tatsuro Taira to get this decision win. On the other side of that, you got Moreno. I think his boxing is going to be sharper, is going to be better. I think he's going to have potentially even a speed advantage. I don't know if he's going to have a speed advantage, but I think he's going to be the technical fighter, so his timing is going to be better. So it's going to look like he's going to be the faster fighter. So I think that's going to play a factor here. So when he's touching him up and hitting him with those punches, he's going to be scoring, and that's going to be counting, I think, a lot more on the scoring than potentially winning scrambling situations and getting back control and doing nothing with it. So when I look at the person who I think is going to win moments and win minutes, I'm going with Moreno. So that's what I'm locking in. He's a slight underdog right now. So Moreno by points is at plus 165, which has got decent value. I could definitely see a sprinkle on that in the parlay this weekend. But yeah, for my official prediction, give me Moreno by decision. That's all I got for you guys in this breakdown. Stop by for our next breakdown where we got Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. This is going to be Henry Cejudo's retirement fight, so that's obviously going to play a factor. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So that's all I got for you guys, and I'm the fuck out of here.